You want that one?
I can't remember who this was.
I think this one was mine. That's why
I think.
Thank you.
Cheers. Guys.
I haven't drank in so long, and it's hot.
That's good though.
It was a little warm.
It's been a while. I stopped drinking for a little bit. Just for
like
a week. A week because I was
5 days.
Just because I was on this medication. I was supposed to be on this medication and I did it.
Only 5 days. I didn't commit that.
And that's the only reason why I didn't take the medication too, because I was like, fuck, if I take the medication,
you can't drink.
I'm not gonna be able to drink. But then I wasn't up for it, and I was like, fuck it, I should have just took the medication. But So do you guys have any current events locally that's happening in town? Do you guys happen to know any? I know one.
Oh yeah, I know one this weekend.
What is it?
So it's in El Dorado, but it's the 150 Fest.
What is that?
It's like their 150th anniversary.
Yeah, I saw on Facebook.
So they're doing like this whole thing, like a river fest type thing.
Oh, but in El Dorado.
Yeah. So Javen's the tour person for El Dorado. Like he runs tourism.
Oh,
so he's
there's tourisms in El Dorado. That is so crazy.
There is now with Javen.
There is now, yeah.
That is so crazy. Can you imagine? Like, oh, we don't have nothing in Wichita, but you can take a good tour out in El Dorado.
No, you need to see those flyers he's working on. There's
he makes it look legit.
They're like crystal clear beaches.
So he hella out here catfishing people. Like, oh, come to El Dorado. It's the best place to be.
And boats, sailboats.
You know, I went to Cheney a couple weeks ago with Steve's friends, and they live there. They have like this whole RV. They're like full on camping people. Like they love the lake. They go all over the like the states to go camping.
Yeah.
And we were in Cheney, and I thought it was just like a regular lake or whatever. No, tell me about this girl
like
gets me on her. His friend's wife takes me on this go-kart, and we go all the way around this whole camping area in Cheney. Well, they have like a whole sailing club out there with like all these huge ass sailboats, and I'm just like, where the fuck am I at? Like I didn't know this was over here. They're like, oh yeah, people live out here for all this shit. Like everybody knows everybody. I was like, no shit, she's in a fucking. Like it looks like a long go-kart, a fast go-kart, and I'm sitting there thinking like, who can fucking? And then she had a moped on top of that too. I'm like, how do you haul all this shit off?
Yeah, they're just.
But that is so crazy. Yeah, but I'm guessing El Dorado is the same way. Like there's probably like
they got a lake.
Hardcore laking people out there.
They got a lake. They did. They built a new beach there, huh?
Yeah, they just built a new beach,
it's like a cleaner version of the lake for kids.
Sand and
stuff.
All that. I give them about a year before that shit turns dark brown again.
Probably.
Because nobody fucking respects it. They be taking their babies with their dirty ass diapers. People be shitting and pissing in there.
That's true.
No, ma'am. Unless you're going to put some chloride in there, count me out.
Just dye the whole
just
lake.
Dye it. Just dye. That blue dye.
The blue dye. They probably do.
They put it.
There is an event. I think Second Chance Bail Bond is either him or I don't know who, but they're having a Independence Day Latino Fest.
Oh, this weekend?
On the 15th, I believe, or on the 16th is when they're having it. You can go to Second Chance Bail Bonds and figure all that out. But they're doing a Latino Fest.
Oh, that's cool.
The first year. Because I knew they used to do, what is it? Something about our community. What was it? Love Our Community?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about Love Our Community? So they used to do it every year, but during COVID. They stopped. So I don't know if that's just part of that or what. Angel, you can communicate with me and let me know what's going on. Because I don't know. I watched a movie also that I really wanted to talk about because it just made me laugh and it made me think a lot about our podcast. It's called Half Brothers. Have you guys seen it? It's on HBO Max.
No.
And it's basically, I'm about to ruin this for everybody. Are you guys planning on watching this movie first of all?
Yeah, but I like to watch. Yeah. I like to know what the movies
So this
are about.
movie is basically about it's a couple in Mexico who have their son and they basically, the economy crashes out in Mexico and the dad has to go to the United States to work, make money and give it to his family. So he left his family behind, came to the typical American dream and how we grew up. Our parents decided to migrate here to work, make money, all that good stuff. Well, in the midst of it, he basically abandoned his family in Mexico. And had a whole other family in the US.
Oh, dang.
And this kid, who had, all this love and respect for his father, basically lost all that love and respect for his father. Yeah. And on his deathbed, he went out there to see him just to let him know, like, hey, I don't give a fuck about you. And amargado, like, his whole life was, like, he had no friends. Yeah. Like, he was getting married to this girl, but he had no friends and, like, nobody to, like, hang out with or anything. Yeah. Like, he didn't care about anybody, only, like, his mother and his future wife. And that was it. He had, like, two people for his wedding. Like, that's all he had. So then he went out there because his wife was like, you should probably go talk to your dad about your daddy issues. Basically, you're having daddy issues. Yeah. Go talk to your dad, figure it out so we can get married and move the fuck on. Yeah. So he goes out there. His dad dies. Basically, is like, I don't give a fuck. Finds out that he has a half brother who's like completely white.
Yeah.
So I thought it was so hilarious because throughout this whole thing, like, it's just stereotypes. You know, like, that white kid is, like, stereotyping what he thinks Mexicans were or are, or like, that part of him, you know, because technically he's half Mexican. But this kid looks white as could be, red hair. Like, he looks super white. Yeah. And in the end, you know, how all movies go, there's, like, a guide and there's a main character and then they all live happily ever after at the end. But I just thought it was funny because I'm like, that is so funny. True. White people really do think about that. They're like, oh, I heard your zip lines are awesome out in Mexico. You know, and I was like, and then the whole movie, I'm like, zip lines? I've never heard of zip lines in Mexico. What the fuck is this movie talking about? You know?
It's
and
like
then,
a stereotypical thing.
Yeah. And then like the Mexican son that was basically the whole movie, he was like an engineer in Mexico. He was like some top notch engineer, had money, like had a good quality of life. And the white guy was like, so what do you do out there? Like, you know, like, doesn't expect for him to have an education, you know, because he's Mexican and he's expecting him to be like an indio. Yeah. So I just thought it was funny. I was like, you guys, I'm going to talk about that because I thought it was so hilarious. I thought it was funny. Half Brother.
I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. Watch it. It's really, really funny because you're like, this is really what white people think about us. This is exactly, funny, though. It's really what it is.
Well, that's like every time I tell people, I go like, oh, I'm just going to Mexico to like travel, and they're like, oh, like, you're gonna go visit your family? I was like, oh, no.
You're like, I have zero family there.
I don't think I have any family left in Mexico, but I like Cancun. I love Mexico City.
You're like, I like all the touristy places. Fuck the homeland.
Yeah.
They just expect you to have like some kind of family like, go visit.
I mean, to be fair, because like I know when we go to Mexico, it's like for 2 weeks. Yeah. 3 weeks. So like, oh, you got family out there.
I have not gone out there in like 20 years.
They're like, you trying to visit your family? You're like, no.
You're like, no, I don't even know who they are.
Like, the ones that's still there, I don't know.
You're like,
plus it's Juarez.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know half those people. Who are they? I'm American. I also wanted to let you guys know, Lydia now has a segment. It's called Mi Querida Lydia.
Mi Querida Lydia.
It's like Dear Abby, but it's Dear Lydia. Yeah. Or Dear Lila, whatever you guys want to say. But if you guys have any questions, any advice, or how to bitch people out. Yeah. Go ahead and mail us on Facebook or what is it? Instant message us. What is it?
Messenger
us. See, I'm so fucking
instant
old.
Message.
Instant message. AOL us. Instant message us or whatever it's called. Let us know what questions you have for her and she'll take a video or something. I don't know what she's planning on doing. She said she's doing something.
She'll be creative though.
She'll create something to respond to your question. Yeah. So even if you guys have questions, let a bitch know.
Yeah.
She will. Our next segment is Exagerado.
Okay.
This is basically a segment where we judge and bitch about things and stuff we do and say in our culture and community. So do you guys have... I don't have anything.
I'd be bitching about everything.
I know, same.
Same. I think I want to say YouTube, and that's because I'm fucking tired of YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm tired of my kids being brainwashed with YouTube. I think it's done. Really, I think, I mean... They think it's such a normal thing. Like I tell my kids all the time, like you know, having an iPad isn't like normal. Like I never had an iPad. No. She's like, well, why don't you have iPads when you were young? I'm like, because they weren't existent. Like they didn't exist. And I feel like everybody now is just using iPads, including YouTube and all that stuff to distract our children.
Yep.
You know,
they're just like completely. There's like video of everything on YouTube.
And that's another thing.
Like I think YouTube started off like how-to videos. No, like information like how do you clean a filter off or something? So you would see a live video of somebody doing it. And now it's just like everything is on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. It's
I'm over it.
It's free media for the kids. Like my kids don't know how to research stuff on Google, but they can like research it on YouTube.
Or they can voice. Yeah, my son can't read or write, but he fucking knows where the microphone's at. And he'll be like, text my mom, I need a bag of hot Cheetos or something in the middle of the fucking night. And I'll be like, go to fucking bed. What the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm not going to get up.
I'm like, dude, and I don't know if that's some people are like, oh, well, that's awesome because they're like innovative. Like they'll help you with technology. I'm like, I don't need my 10-year-old and my 6-year-old to help me.
I don't need YouTube to raise my children.
No, I'm like, that stuff is everywhere. And it's
you know
like
what?
everywhere.
I just thought of something too. I thought of something that I think is exagerado. The charcuterie boards.
Oh, don't even. I'm
done.
That's our shit.
I'm done with charcuterie boards. Charcuterie boards. You love charcuterie?
You haven't had a good charcuterie board.
I just don't understand the concept of a charcuterie board.
I
don't understand why they just put a whole bunch of little pieces of salami. Like I'm gonna need more than that, ma'am. I don't need 3-4 pieces of salami. I'm gonna need like 30 pieces of salami.
You need to hang out with people like us when you do charcuterie boards.
Charcuterie boards.
But is it enough for everybody?
Our charcuterie board is the size of this table.
Mm-hmm.
So you make the ginormous the charcuterie boards.
We big bone charcuterie board.
Because that's how I was. I was like, I don't need to eat no grown up Lunchables. With the
I'm all for the little grown up Lunchables. Actually.
Well, then you'll like charcuterie boards.
Yeah.
I just think it's just too. I just don't understand.
You don't know? Oh no, girl. Javen be going out. He did like some Parmesan rolls last time.
So you guys don't just keep it to like deli meats.
No.
He opens it up.
Yeah, he does like hummus and like pita and like bread and dips. Yeah. He did that marinara dip.
Oh.
So I guess that was my exagerado. That was not your exagerado because y'all are charcuterie people.
We're all about this.
We are all about charcuterie board.
And the goat cheese.
You guys like the goat cheese?
Yeah.
Do you guys like cheese?
Yeah.
I'm a big cheese person too.
Yeah.
The stinkier the better. That's how I see it.
I think the weirder the cheese looks, the better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I am tired of? I don't know if I should say it.
Say it.
You know, like the DIY people.
Oh, I'm fucking tired of that bullshit. I concur with that.
I'm like a big supporter. Like I will buy a product from you, but there's like a time where it's like everyone's doing it, everyone's doing like tumblers and like tie-dye shirts, bleach shirts.
Everybody owns a Cricut.
Everyone owns a Cricut.
I know. I'm so mad. I can't even get one for myself. I don't even want to sell shit. I just want to.
My mother-in-law was like, your father-in-law is gonna get a Cricut. I'm like, for what? And then she's like, I don't know. I'm like, just let him get it.
You're like, let him. We're going to come over and make t-shirts for the birthdays.
I'm like, already imagine the stuff he's going to be.
I'm like,
car decals.
Car decals. That's what Ross said. He's like, is my grandpa going to make like garage decals?
He should. That's what.
Well, I think that's what it's a little exaggerated right now.
It is. The tumblers,
and
especially, and it's so crazy because you see it on TikTok, like how they make it.
Yeah, the epoxy,
or even to the knitting, which I think that's cool.
Oh,
like
the knitting ones?
the knitted stuff that they're selling. There's this girl, I forgot her name, but she's now like selling these cute ass knitted tops.
Oh,
and like whole outfits that she'll knit.
No, but see, that's actual talent.
It's croquet. It's not knitting. My bad.
That's talent though.
That is talent. So you're saying, she's saying the people that are just ironing shit on t-shirts ain't
it's just
talented.
Everywhere, and I'm just
y'all hear that? Fami said y'all ain't shit.
I just don't want to like only support one person, but then I'd be like $300 down, like
for
buying
real
6 shirts.
And you know what? I feel the same way though, because like I feel like we have so many people that we know that do all this stuff. Like it's hard to pick. Like and you don't want to seem like a bitch because you're like I supported them, but I didn't support you. My bad. It's just that's how it worked.
I think it's just that like hustling. Like I feel like there's always a new hustle.
Yeah.
Every time.
There is.
So like right now it's all that
personalized
stuff. Cups and tumblers.
So do you guys think that so last winter, fallish, it was the cocoa bombs. The cocoa bombs. Do you guys think it's going to be something similar to that this year or something different?
I think people are starting to come out with those. I don't think we had enough of those.
Oh, fuck those. First of all, I hate chocolate, so I don't even fuck with it.
I try to make them and
she said fuck those.
One of them came out good and the rest of them did not.
No?
What Miguel said it too. He said that like the thing wouldn't even melt all the way.
Yeah, he did say that it would keep turning and it wasn't melting fast enough for him. He had to crack it and grab like the.
Then it was like all sugar
because sugar.
The amount of milk to like chocolate ratio.
Yeah, was not proportionate.
It was like chocolate on the outside, then it was like chocolate powder on the inside,
and then the marshmallows inside, or like the sprinkles and stuff.
Oh, you need like an extra large cup of hot milk.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think there was a person that was selling those. That they were actually doing like mugs to fit their bombs because they were like so big. Dang. Yeah,
I think that's cool too. I need to stop with TikTok though. The ceramic stuff that they build, the pottery stuff. I think that's cool too.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen a lot of that. I've just seen a lot of just t-shirt dyeing.
Have you guys seen too that there's like a couple people out there who are renting out centerpieces for quinceañeras?
Yeah.
Like $5 a piece. I was like, the fuck? Really?
No, there was this lady that actually like she messaged me on my Facebook. because I had posted, like, I think last year, like, I was pregnant, so I said, where can I buy cheap decorations for a baby shower? And she, like, messaged me, like, a picture of my post and said, hey, like, hit me up for your needs. And I'm like, my daughter is, like, 15 months old already. Like, she's done been here. Yeah,
too
but
late.
she had cute stuff. She had, like, really cute centerpieces and stuff, and she was renting them, like, I think it was $20 for a dozen of, like, these little box crates of, like, decorations.
What happens when, like, someone takes it, though?
Yeah, because you know how Mexican women be like, I'm about to take this centerpiece at home. You better make a public service announcement from the beginning. Like, hey, these centerpieces, ma'am, comadre, are not made for you to take home.
We went to a quinceañera last year around, like, when COVID was, like, dying off a little bit. And there was a little card that said, please do not take these centerpieces are rented. There was like a little card, a business card.
That would be more embarrassing though.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want y'all to know that I rented them.
Well, I mean,
I want y'all to think that I put my blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
No, but it's true. Like, what if you do take them? Like, are you going to pay like $50 for centerpiece?
Like that. Y'all better fucking sign a waiver. Right before you do that shit.
I was like, you were assigned to this table, so if yours goes missing, you're getting the bill.
We have a seating chart now.
You're getting an invoice.
There's a card on
There's
file.
like 10 people in this table. One of you bitches took it. Who is it going to be?
Split it if you want.
Yeah. We got the video to prove that you were sitting at that table.
So what have you guys been up to this summer? I know we haven't had an episode in a really, really long time.
Everything. These kids driving me nuts.
We're all the same.
Just moved. I moved from house to an apartment.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because the house was a little...
Was it haunted?
It was sus.
It was a little janky.
It was sus.
It was sus.
Like every time I would take a shower, the floor would like feel like it kept going down. So I'm pretty sure the board under there...
Something.
I was like, one of these days, it's just going to happen.
Jesus, take the wheel.
So, yeah, it was time to leave.
It was time to upgrade.
So you didn't do nothing this summer?
I went to the lake.
I'm tired of the lake. And I only went 3 times.
Girl, we have an RV. We didn't.
That would be the life.
We didn't use it though.
I would love that life. You know how much
we went to the lake without it. No, yeah, we just went. We just hung out. We didn't have a very eventful year. Like it was like tragedy and like sad stuff. Oh, yeah. So we didn't really
do much.
No, we didn't do much. Like we didn't celebrate much. We just went to the lake and just got a lot of clarity. It was like a time of clarity, I think.
Yeah.
Like a time of just like, what's the real thing that you need to focus on? But sadly, that's always
the case.
Always, yeah, it's like, you know, something happens and then it like puts you where you need to be. And then you're just like, my priorities are fucked up. And then you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it's like, I got to go to the lake and just
chill.
Like that. I need to be happy for doing that.
Last time I went to the lake, I blacked out.
Was it after the goat cart ride?
No, that was the day before. That was the day before. But I blacked out. I don't even know what I was doing. I remember being on the boat and then we started swimming in the middle of the water and Steve was like, let's go. What are you doing? Uh-huh. And somehow I got in a tent, threw up. I blacked out. I don't fucking know. And then but it all had to do with this shot that I took that tasted like peanut butter whiskey and it tasted like peanut butter. I cannot eat peanut butter right now. I will not.
Takes you back.
It takes me back. It's traumatizing. I don't know.
Hell no.
And now my kids, like, they think that the peanut butter is what got me sick. Oh. Like, they'll tell my mom. Mom got really sick at the lake. And because she took peanut butter and she threw up. Grandma, she threw up. She got sick and she was eating her wine. She was drinking her wine. I was drinking beer. I was drinking beer.
You were drinking wine to feel better?
I was drinking wine and then I ate peanut butter and then I threw up and I got sick. So now my mom knows everything.
Yep. She's like, it's that damn peanut butter.
But they didn't know it was a peanut butter whiskey. It was a peanut butter whiskey. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who has peanut butter whiskey? I didn't think it was going to be that strong, but it fucked me up.
Damn.
I was done.
It's like moonshine wine or something?
No, I don't know. But that's how I ended my summer at that point. Because I was like, because I was in front of Steve's family and everybody there. And at some point I heard somebody be like, put a blanket over her ass. Her ass cheeks are out in the camp, in the tent. I was like, fuck, you guys really... And then they left me in this hot-ass tent. All the windows are closed. And I'm, like, suffocating. And
with a blanket over you.
With a blanket over me. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm never doing this again.
That's enough summer.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm done for this summer. But it was fun. It was okay.
Yeah, no. I think summers are fun. You just got to do stuff that you like, and I guess it's not always what I always see people like travel and like do cool stuff during like there's like so much time for them to do stuff, and I'm just like at home like getting up at noon.
I wish I could do that. My kids don't let me. Not anymore.
I'm just like, there's really nothing eventful that I did other than just we went to the lake a lot. That's it.
Yeah, we usually go to the lake a lot too, but this year we did not. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. I cannot do this summer. And thank God his kids were like, we're going to go to the quinceañera, Dad. Peace. Yeah. We're not going to the lake with you. I'm like, I'm going with them. I'm going with them. I want to be your chaperone. Take me with you.
You're like, I will hang out with you.
I think I've even asked Steve, like, is it okay if I dance with somebody? And he's like, with another girl. Yeah. And I'd be like, but what if they're gay or something and I can dance with them? Yeah. And they're like, no, you can't.
He said, like,
there's no point of going then. No. Can't go.
Yep.
Can't dance.
Yeah. Same.
So about this podcast, who would you guys like to see on here? Who would you guys think that someone's special enough or interesting enough that you guys would want to have on here? Anybody in particular? Anybody shout out you want to have?
I'm trying to get all my damn family to get in here.
You should. Because
they're interesting. They are very interesting. But no one wants to. Only Chris. Chris is like, yeah. Nobody wants to. I don't know. I'm just like.
That's not scary. Don't be scaredy cats.
It's always been a bucket list of mine to be on the podcast.
Really? High five on that one. High five on that one.
Yeah.
I was like, I tried to start a podcast with my sister one time. And
that didn't work out? Is your sister crazy?
No. It was just us talking about our extended family. Just like talking shit. And we're like, we probably should post this.
Jeanette's that's like, when you should. Are you kidding me?
That's why I told Jeanette.
It's still on my laptop. I listen to it every now and then.
Maybe we should post it. She's like, maybe we should post it anonymous. And I'm like, it should be called that. It should just be like anonymous.
You should. That's a good idea. Anonymous. And then you just talk shit about people. Can I come on? Can I have a couple people I want to talk shit about?
Yeah, because if you listen.
This is for.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you listen to people without seeing who they are, you can't put a face to their voice.
Not at all.
It's hard.
Like one of those TikTok voice changers.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it. You should post it.
No, it would be hilarious.
I have a lot of shit to talk. A lot of tias and grandmas and shit. I'm coming for you.
Yeah. I told them.
Let me fucking talk shit.
Yeah. I'm like, you guys should do it. I'm like, because
I got a couple cousins I'd like to get in there. Not you, Fabi. Not you.
It'd be funny as hell, dude. Because there's a lot of stuff that, like, people get butthurt. And I'm like, you don't even understand what we were saying. And you're like, butthurt.
Heard about it? We had that happen a couple months ago. No big deal. Grandma's over it, I think. Grandma's over it. Yeah. I don't know yet. I'd have to talk to her again.
But I think that'd be funny.
Yeah, but that'd be good.
I think just generally anyone that you feel like that can break a barrier. Because like I've always, I guess growing up, I never would have thought like I was like an out person. Like I never thought I would be like open to like talk. But somehow like people can't get me to shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think like
it's part of our family too. We talk a lot.
I think if people see like that on a podcast, they're easily to be like, oh, I can do that. I can go there. Like if it's like a atmosphere where they can just come and talk. Like it's not like you don't have to be. That's what Alfred told me. He's like, but what if you say something that's not like politically correct? Like he cares, like whatever. And then I'm like, that's not about it. It's like you just go and you kind of just go with the flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people when you ask them like, oh, you want to be on a podcast? They're like, but what do I got to say? And
yeah, it's like nothing. Just be yourself.
Is there a certain thing that I have to like stick to? And I'm like, no.
just be yourself. There'll be an outline just in case, but just go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's super. I would say the same thing. I think that the whole podcast world is easy to a certain extent.
I think if you're just showing up, not doing anything is easy.
Yeah, it's easy in that aspect. But like how he did it, that's what I would recommend for anybody who's starting a podcast to do what he did.
Yeah.
Literally get a mic, record it, put it out there. And that's how you would be able to, that's the easiest way to go about it.
Yep.
But you have to have something to talk about. You can't, like that. And I think that's the hard part when it comes to podcasts. Like you have to always have something to talk about. Yeah. You have to do your research. You have to have a body for the podcast. And sometimes like the whole anonymous thing, I think that works for you. I think that would be great to do that.
Yeah.
Especially because there is no face, there is no video.
Yeah.
To put.
It's all voice.
Yeah.
It's all voice.
So let me know because I got a couple people I got to talk to. I have so many people. Grandpa Geronimo.
I know.
Still kicking alive. Offense.
I saw
no
that.
expiration date on that one.
I know.
Don't tell my mom. Sorry, Mom. Sorry. She's going to be like, it is bien gacha. Why do you do that?
Te pasas, Elisa.
So far on the show, what would you guys change? Is there anything that you guys think you would do different if you guys were to be the ones creating this podcast or directing this podcast?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I like how organic it is, you know? Like, because you don't only stick to, like, women battles or, like, men battles or relationship battles or, like, race battles or, you know what I mean? Like, you're like a flow of everything. It's an organic mix of stuff. So, like, you literally could, like, my mom was saying how we need to talk more Spanish in it. Yeah. She's like, that way I can hear it at work. You know, and I'm like, oh, that would be fun. Yeah, but then I feel like you're like only catering to a certain demographic because not everyone.
And that is so crazy.
Understands.
I get what you're saying because we get that a lot too. Yeah. I get that a lot. My mom has told me, and other people have told me, why do you have to do it in English? Why not in Spanish? And I always have to explain to them, look, the podcast is for everyone. It is for everyone. It's not just for a certain group of people, but we basically cater to our age group and to what we are. We're American and we're Mexican. You know, we weren't born in Mexico. We don't know those struggles. We know only the struggles that we have here in the U.S., being a Latino, Mexicano, whatever. So for us, English is our second language, first language, whatever, but we understand it better. We can...
It's just more relatable to
us. It's more relatable, but we can express ourselves better than we are doing in Spanish. Because I tell my mom, how crazy would I look doing a podcast in Spanish, and I can't even say half the shit that I want to say, you know? Like, I get stuck. Yeah. Like, I may be a bomb-ass interpreter. Yeah. Don't give me that check mark just yet. Yeah. But
it's just
different. Sometimes you get stuck. Like, it's a language, I know it. I know what it is. I know what it means. I know what to say. But sometimes you get it to a point where you don't know what you want to say. You can't. It doesn't come out. You're stuck. Yeah. And that's what I try to explain to her. She's like, but you do it so well. I'm like, yeah, because it's easy to talk to you. Yeah. But I can't, once you're in front of a camera talking to other people and you want to say a word, it's not the same thing.
No, it's not. It's not the same thing.
So, yeah, I get that a lot. And I even from customers like, well, we don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, well, ma'am, subtitles. Hello. Subtitles. Yeah. Spanish subtitles. Go ahead and hit that one.
Auto-generated ones.
For real. And I don't know, maybe we will have it in the future. I don't know. But I just know that right now, what I want to focus on is on our culture that we have here. Yep. What we have built here, not in Mexico. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Mexico. No. That is always going to be our culture. That is where we come from. Yeah. That is where it's rooted from. But we always also have to take notes that, hey, we're evolving from that too. It's not just, we're going to stick to one place. Because that's one thing with Latinos and Mexican Hispanics. They get accustomed to one way of life and they keep that one way of life and keep going.
It's like that one thing. Just always sticks out to me is the line from Selena when they're on the bus. Yeah. And he's like, we're Mexican-American. We have to prove to the Mexicans that we're more Mexican than they are so we can prove that we're Mexican. But we also have to prove how American we are to the American people. So it's always like
I just feel like I had a Lydia moment.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what Lydia would say. Lydia would totally say that.
I always think about that.
And it's so true. So it's so true. And people might make fun of us for redoing that quote over and over, but it's simply so the truth of what we go through daily. Yeah. So.
Yep. Anywhere you go.
Do you guys feel like our state, our city is adapting more to the culture and having more of a Latino root in it? The reason I asked that was because my mom, when she first got here, she always bitches about like back then no habían ni tortillas de harina, no habían tortillas, like what you guys see at the grocery stores, even at Walmart. It was never a thing. Like it was so hard to find certain items, certain sazones, certain like chiles or whatever that we needed to make what we knew how to make here in the U.S. and here in Wichita than there is now. Like now there's so many possibilities. There's like literally a tortilleria at every corner on the north side.
Or just any Walmart you go to now has like a special design
aisle. Latin aisle with, and they also have an Asian aisle too. So do you guys think that has evolved? Do you think Wichita, Kansas, or Kansas in general has more of an open thing for Latinos? Like more than back then, I would say.
Yeah. Probably. I think for sure, I think we have a better sense of community in Wichita. Like, I mean, North Side's pretty much dominantly Hispanic. Yep. North Side, that's what it's known for. Yep. I think what I would like to see is just having that same representation in like local politics and like those types of positions. 'Cause I feel like that's kind of where we're more lacking. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like that representation because we are getting really close to becoming the majority. Yeah. Like even just in schools. Yeah. So I think that's just how different it is when it comes to representation in those types of positions. I was like, because I work at for Wichita Public Schools. I was like, and you go in there and it's all the teachers are white.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what is so crazy? I went into Cloud today, Cloud Elementary right there on the north side. And like the majority of the teachers now, okay, when I first started, when I started taking my kids, and this is not racist on my side. It's not. It's just me being a bitch and I'm complaining. But I would take my kids to school and like they would only talk Spanish. And my kids don't know Spanish. Yeah. You know, like they would only talk to the students in Spanish. And to me, that would piss me off because I'm like, my kids don't know Spanish. They only know English. Yeah. And it's not my fault. It's their fault because they grew up with my mom, okay? And she spoke Spanish to them their whole life. Yeah. You know? But it would irritate me because I'm just like, why can't you guys speak English? Like, why is it always having to be just catering to... I know this is like a predominantly Latino school. And most of the parents here don't know English. I understand that. I'm all for that. But... I feel like you guys should have a happy medium, you know, like with some of the kids that are this generation's kids now too, that don't know Spanish, you know, like they want to learn, maybe offer a Spanish class. I don't fucking know. Yeah. But anyways, that irked me back then. Now I'm like still, I'm all right, whatever. Yeah. But I noticed going into conferences today that a lot of the teachers at Cloud Elementary are all Hispanic. Oh, yeah. And that was so awesome to see because I was like, wow, like there's really a lot of Hispanic teachers here. Like, so most of the time they don't need like interpreters because they know the language. So they get to talk to the parents. And so
they can still talk to the student in English.
Well, my son's teacher's name is Miss Gonzalez and she's as white as could be. So apparently she probably married into, you know, but I still thought it was cool. It's like when I was little, you didn't hear that. Like a Mrs. Gonzalez, a Miss Sanchez, a Miss, whatever, you know, like the Hispanic last names. You always heard like a Mrs. Smith, a Miss Williams, Miss Wilson, you know, like the white teachers. So, and I've noticed like even with my kids, like they feel like they can relate to their teachers. You know, like they know where they're, my teacher said that she was going to do something for Cinco de Mayo, but she said that she wasn't because it wasn't a real holiday. You know, like we were supposed to, but we didn't because it wasn't a real holiday. You know, like
that sounds like me. I'm not
gonna like so I'm just like that's awesome. You know, like that's awesome that your teacher's teaching you this. Like, and it's, you know, like...
It's good to hear that the kids have, like, that. They're comfortable at that age, especially because your kids are small.
Yeah, well, they don't know any better. Yeah. Like, even, like, when we were younger and I was going to Cloud, like I said, I went to Carroll and it was kind of like a culture shock because I wasn't sure why there was so many white people when I grew up with a whole bunch of Mexican kids, you know? Like, and all these kids were going through what I was going through as a child at Cloud. Like, their parents were immigrants. Most of those parents were immigrants. Most of those parents, you know, were working in construction. Yeah. You know, like, they were going with... I was going through. We all related in some way. Once I went to Carroll, I was like, these bitches don't know suffrage. Yeah. Like, they don't know none of that. They don't know any of that. They know money, and that's also bad to say about the Catholic school, because I shouldn't say that, but it's true. Yeah. It's like a private school. So, like I said, I got culture shocked, got there, a whole bunch of white people, and I'm like, where'd y'all come out of the woodworks from? You know, like, where were y'all hiding from?
Yeah. Well, especially because, like, your whole neighborhood was surrounded with...
Yeah, I'd come home and there's a whole bunch of Mexicans everywhere.
Yeah, like in like even like the library or like the parks we would go to, like we would never see like rich people. You know what I mean? We would always.
I guess it wasn't a thing. Like you didn't even care if they were rich or not, had money or whatever. It was a normal thing. Yeah,
there was like certain streets we wouldn't like go to. Like we wouldn't go to like the far Walmart. We wouldn't go to like, you know, like a far store. Like there was boundaries. Like my parents didn't get on the highway. Like we stayed local, like under like there. 5 minutes. So like when, like you said, when I grew up and I expanded, I was like, oh my gosh, like
you're like we missed the Walmart out here in Maine. They got the deals.
Yeah, like you know, like it's just one of those things.
They got the good stuff over here.
It's one of those things. So like I agree with Chris. It's like when you see people in politics that look like you, that kind of have the same background as you kind of are more like, for me, you know, I'm not as ignorant to like actually watch like a debate, because I, you know, as soon as I see someone that I can't relate to, I'm not interested in what they have to argue, because I'm like, you're obviously not there to argue for what I, you know, what I represent. Yeah. So like if you see more, you know, Latino people, Hispanic people, Mexican people, people of color that have some kind of like suffrage coming, and it's like more relatable, and you're just like, oh, like, you know, we can, like, you know, you can reach. I don't know. When I see people that like our age, like I saw Lydia on, like, she was out there protesting for immigrants. Yeah. I saw what she was doing. I was like crying. I think I was working at the time. I was like, I cannot believe that she has like the guts to do that. You know what I mean? Because I would like die to defend people.
And you know what is so crazy? A lot of people think like that. A lot of people are scared to go out there and defend themselves or defend our people or defend what they believe in. A lot of people won't do that. No. Because of the same feeling. It's like, what if they arrest me? Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in the system. Like, what if we get in trouble?
Or you just don't have Like you just don't see people doing it. But as soon as you start seeing people like do that, it starts to make your brain wonder, like, maybe I need to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's, in a way, Kansas probably has adapted to more Latino ways, but at the same time, it's like not really, you know, like they're just catering to us because we have money to go spend in their establishments, but they're not really there for the culture and like the, you know what I mean? So I feel like we still have work. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. I definitely think that. So if you guys could improve anything, what would you guys improve statewide, citywide, culture-wise?
I don't know. I mean, just more, I guess more, me as a family person, I feel like there's been a lot of things family oriented, but it's just so hard to get into them. Like there's a line, and then like Alfred is not about waiting in line, and you know, so I feel like I have no idea. I'm like, I just leave it to people that know how to how to bring new things to cities and states. I'm just there to support, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
do you guys think that the 15th of September, which is the can't even think of the word, the Mexican Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do you think that should be something that should still be celebrated here since it is America?
I don't know. I mean, I never celebrated it.
I was about to say, yeah. I was like, it's kind of one of those things because, like, my parents never celebrated. No. Kind of like even with Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, never.
Like, I never
it's
celebrated
not a thing.
that here. So,
never.
No.
Yeah,
I think it's good to acknowledge it and, like, know the history behind it. But
I think people just are accustomed to, if you're not celebrating it, you're not proud of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, if I don't celebrate Dia de los Muertos, I'm not proud of having... Or I'm not like sharing homage to my parents' parents have passed. And I'm like, no, like I have that in my heart. Like I'll celebrate that in my heart. You know, sometimes people don't want to celebrate stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that all has to do a lot with like movies and stuff too, though. You know what I mean? Like they put this expectation of what
out
they
there.
think Mexicans should be like.
Yeah.
Like, oh, El Dia de los Muertos. So what are you guys going to do? Are you guys going to cook and do all this stuff? Like, nah. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And I understand too that there is culture out there. Yeah. Like out in Mexico, there are places where they celebrate hard.
Yeah.
You know, but
that's because they live it, breathe it, and do it.
Like, but like for me, it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't live there. I don't believe in it as much as that. Like I wouldn't even know what to do. Yeah. Like or how to start.
No, I'm not knowledgeable. I hate when people ask me like, hey, do you know who fought for Puebla? And I'm just like, I'm as fucking stupid as you think that I am. I have no idea. You know what I mean?
Was it Pancho Villa?
So it's like, sometimes like, you know, you make fun of yourself in that way, but it's true. Like, I don't know, maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. It don't matter.
Well, you know, because everybody celebrates Cinco de Mayo, even though Cinco de Mayo is not really the Independence Day. Everybody thinks it's the Independence Day, but it's just a day to drink. Drinko de Mayo.
Yeah. It's like what is it? Valentine's Day? You know, it's just like a money. Mm-hmm. It's like a way to make money. Yeah. So if you just view it for that and you don't get offended, you should be okay. I used to work with a girl that was like super offended about everything. And like there was a work email once that said like, if you want to come dressed up for Cinco de Mayo. And she was like, what do they mean dressing up? What do they think we dress up as? You know, like I get it why she was mad, but I'm like, it's just because we wore uniforms at work. I'm like, it's just a day to not wear a uniform. Like that's what probably they meant. No, I'm going to write an email because that's not right. That not right. Like Lydia. That's not right. Like how they're just assuming that we come with a sombrero and like a sarape and like, what are we supposed to wear? A freaking bigote? And I'm like, I don't think it's that serious.
She's like, girl, you took this to heart.
She was mad. And I'm just like, I don't think that's what they meant.
But you know what's crazy? There are people who take offense to stuff like that. You know, people get really offended about and it's not really that big. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal either. It's just like, whatever. If you're going to celebrate it, whatever. Yeah. So celebrate what you want to celebrate. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if it has to do positivity, like anything positive for our culture, go ahead and do it. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they want to celebrate, cool. If they don't,
and if she didn't want to wear a uniform, that's all she had to say.
I know.
Like this is a day for Mexican restaurants to cash out.
For real. Like, and you know what? That is a good point because, you know, especially like local restaurants, like they're making the most probably on those days. Yeah. And I always wonder, like, okay, so the 15th is the Independence Day of Mexico. Mm-hmm. Why hasn't anybody made it as hyped up as it probably should? Yeah. You know, give them another excuse to drink. Give them another excuse to party.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
That would be perfect for our local businesses. Yeah. You know, because like I said, white people any type of people. I just said white people. That's racist as fuck for saying that too. But everybody just wants to celebrate something. Yeah. They want to go out to drink for something. They don't have a reason to go out and drink for some type of holiday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's cool. It's cool when you put it in that way. But there's people that get offended. I'm just like, whatever.
So what does this show represent for you, Fabi?
Freedom.
She's like 30 minutes away from the kids. Bitch, bye.
No, honestly, I think it's fun because, like I said, you see a perspective on, hey, like they lived kind of what I did, and they've achieved like a lot of things, or I would have never imagined they would have done what they do now, or been so open to talk about it, stuff like that. So I feel like it's freedom. It's like a freedom. It's just a
freedom of speech.
That's it. Yeah. Because I mean, there's not a lot of places that you can go and just freely speak.
Yeah. Without somebody judging you or saying like, no, that's not the way it goes.
So I think
it's this way.
That's what this podcast means to me. It's like a freedom. It's just kind of like liberating. It almost liberates you. Like if you have something like that you've hindering. And you just talk about it and you like don't know who it's going to like reach, and you're just like, that's so cool to think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I'll listen to it sometimes when you guys have other guests on, and I'm like, wow, like she probably never thought that I would listen to that and I would relate to it. Yeah. So it's like freedom, you know, like they've liberated themselves from that. And like now I'm like in that zone. And then I'm like, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, the same. It's just like that, having that representation, but more like geared towards Wichita Latino. Yeah. Like growing up Latino in Wichita. And just like all the, like when you guys would talk about like different stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I was like, I remember when we would, you know, run around this neighborhood and do hood rat stuff. Yeah. Cause a scene, and
we all did some hood rat stuff.
Go to Quick Trip and steal the little chicles that they had there.
They had gum there. I never stole it. I was always scared.
We just take one, we run out, get chased by chihuahuas and the north side. I feel like that's everybody's passage.
Everyone's passage.
You know what bothers me about the north side? That there's more to just the north side. I feel like the south side is part of it too, you know? Yeah. But they're like in their own world. They have their own stories. They have their own things. And I would love to be able to tap into that and try to see like, what's the difference, or why are we always north against south? You know, like why is it always a thing? Yeah. Why can't we all just be kind to each other, support each other, all local businesses? Because obviously on that side of town, there is kind of like a little Mexico too. Yeah. You know, they have their own local businesses.
There's a community there.
Yeah, a whole community. So, that's true. I forgot what I was going to say.
What does it mean to you? What does it represent?
Oh, what does it represent? Nothing. Just kidding. I'm just here for the views. Sorry. I'm just kidding. To me, this is my baby. You guys know this. This is my baby. I've created it for the same reason that you guys are talking. Like, our parents, like I said at the beginning of this show, our parents came here so alone. Yeah. They came here with so much suffrage, so much shit that they went through. I mean, if I put my mom up here on one of her stories, she will literally make you cry. Yeah. With all the shit that our moms went through, with family members, with everything. And they always felt so alone. Yes. So I just wanted this podcast to really reach out to those people who are just, not just our age group or the people that can relate to us, but also to the people that are out there who are just getting here and feel alone, you know, that to let them know like, hey, you're not alone. And there's so many sources and so many places that can help you and so many people that are out there willing to help you and be there for you, even if they're complete strangers. Yeah. Cause I feel like that's what we lacked at the beginning. Yeah. You know, when we all first got here, like we didn't have resources. We didn't know about education. We didn't know about anything. Nothing was offered to us. No. And everybody was unknowledgeable about it. So now we have those resources. We have those people working in those businesses and in those places that can give us the information that we need for whatever it is that we're looking for. Yeah. Like now you can literally find childcare. You can literally find like Spanish classes where they're giving you food, where they're offering free clothes, you know, a shelter. Like if you're needing shelter, there's like specific groups out there for those type of people.
There's always someone willing to help you.
Yeah. And that would have been so cool to have back then.
Dude, it was so scary. Like when we were buying our house, we had, Alfred had no one to like call and be like, hey, what form did you fill? Yeah. When you were doing it, I'm pretty sure like it was freaking terrifying.
I mean, even just like when I would apply to college. Yeah. And, like, I literally just like showed up to campus and I was like,
what do I do?
Who do I need to talk to?
Yeah. Cause your parents have no idea. Like I remember being like 6, 7 years old, filling out like paperwork for my parents.
Yeah.
And that terrifies me.
Or not only that, like you go to the hospital because somebody's sick and you have to be the interpreter. Yeah. Because they didn't have they didn't have interpreter services back then.
Yeah. So seeing people on the podcast talk about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, could I have just met you in that time? And like, we would have been friends.
Yeah, that would have been better. It's like you feel a sense of comfort and a sense of like, okay, so I'm not alone in this. And we're going to get over this. And this community is going to grow and be what it is now.
Yeah. So like, I guess that the podcast could also mean that. It's like a source of resource.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? It's like you hear it and it's like a way to like get in contact, like, you know, questions, like just email, message, send something. Like you say, like send us a message or something.
Yeah, definitely. And we can hook you up. Something. Is there anything that you guys think that the culture needs to know? Your Latino culture?
It's going to be all right. It'll be all right.
I'll go a little more
deep. He's like, I'm going to go deep into this. Go ahead.
Just because I was like, just so everybody knows, all the religious Latino people out there, it's okay to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
You're not going to become a zombie or become...
And if it does, it's not like y'all we're going to survive anyways.
We will not survive.
The demons are going to enter your body.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, there's... don't even get me started.
That is another thing that I really... The whole Catholic thing. Mm-hmm. I believe in the whole... I mean, that's how I grew up. That's the culture. Catholicism. Yes. That is how I grew up. Yeah. I believe in all the santos. I believe in la Virgencita. I believe in all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I feel like the sermons and everything that they're talking about at church is so outdated.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that I'm just like, I don't want to be here. Like, you know, I feel forced. I feel like it's a chore. I feel like I have to go because it's the right thing to do instead of what my heart is telling me to do.
Are you going to Spanish speaking masses?
No, I go to the English ones and those irritate me too. Really? Why? Because they be having a thick ass accent. Oh. And I'm just like, what are you saying?
Oh, no. Really?
Or even in Spanish. Like, I don't understand how my mom or whoever goes, like all my family that goes to church, how do you guys understand them talking in Spanish? Like, I don't get it. Yeah. Or they do the Spanglish thing, and I'm just like, can you stick to one thing?
Yeah.
And it's not just that, and it's just me bitching here.
Yeah.
It's just me bitching here.
Because I used to think like you. I used to think that it was so outdated until I went to an English-speaking mass. Like, I felt so much like I, like, connected because it's not as antiquated. Is that a word? Like, it's not so, like, past, like, oh, back then this is what men did, this is what women did, and we still need to do it. It's more like eyes wide open thing. It's like,
well, see, I went to Carroll and we had English masses all the time. Right. So I just feel like when I go to church, there's like 45 minutes of standing up, sitting down, praying, so you feel doing like this, and then it's like 15-minute sermon. And sometimes I don't feel fulfilled with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I went to this other church that my boss always goes to, and I like going to that church. And it's not that I will always, like I said, I'm part of the Catholic Church. I believe in the Catholic Church. Same. But sometimes I feel like I need to go somewhere else so I can hear the word.
You can feel fulfilled.
In a way that I can understand it.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of religion, is that you are free to do that. And you shouldn't be judged on that. And you shouldn't feel like you need to explain yourself to people. Because when you start letting people affect your religion, just because I used to be the same way. I let people affect my peace, like my inner peace. I'm like, I'm not going to go to church because I don't want to be associated with the people that, like, when you enter, they're like looking at you. Yeah. I don't want to be associated with that. So I'm like, what can I do to change at least my perspective? Because it was ruining my inner peace. And I did the same thing. I would stay home and I would read like scriptures like by myself. And I'm like, even if they're not Catholic, like, I'm just going to read what feels good for me and that's going to fulfill my soul. And that's how I started. And then eventually I met people that like thought the same as I did. And I just don't get religion people when they're like, I'm not getting something because it goes against what the Bible says. Yeah. And I'm like, but you're completely like, it's robbing your peace. So when you start letting it rob your peace, you're not living a religious life. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're such a hypocrite when you say that. Like, I'm not going to do something because the Bible tells me not to do it. It's like, no, like that's robbing your peace, which is completely the opposite of what religion is supposed to be about.
Yeah. I just think, I just think like, I've gone to like the Catholic Church and sometimes like they read out of the Bible or they're talking in this certain way, like a perfect way of talking that you don't really understand what they're talking about. Yeah. To the point where you zone out. Yeah. And you're just, like I said, there just to fulfill your duties as a Catholic. And when I've gone to other churches, they talk to me in a way that I understand everything and that they, you know, like, even if the music is a little bit louder and it's not as like Catholic as you know, but I just feel like I get more fulfilled that way. But I still know, like, because they'll sometimes be like, are you going to get baptized? I'm like, ma'am, I'm already baptized. I'm Catholic. Like, sorry, I'm Catholic. I'm just here just to hear the sermon. That's all I'm here for. Like, I'm just here to hear what he has to say and what God's telling me, because this is what I feel like he's telling me to come here to listen to him at this point. But I'm still Catholic. Yeah. Like, I still believe in everything that I believe in.
It's true. I mean, literally just whatever brings you peace to your soul, just keep doing that, because everyone's always going to tell you something. Like, till this day, people are like, well, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be listening to this. You shouldn't be living this way. And I'm just like, why? Like,
I feel like that's even maybe a difficult thing to grasp, just being Hispanic, Latino.
Yeah. Well, because
there's like rules. You know what I mean?
Rules,
like there's rules,
boundaries. Yeah. Like, you have to ask permission. I'm 32 and I still feel weird telling my parents certain things. Like, I still have to ask permission. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. Like, our mentality, it's engraved. Like, it will never go away. Like, I'm going to be like this till I'm old.
I feel like ever since I became like a single mother, like all that went out the window.
Oh, really?
Yes. I like, even like if my parents say stuff to me, I'm just like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's no, like, there's respect, but it's not like if they tell me to do something, I'll be like, no, I'm not going to do it. If I don't want to do it, I'll be like, I'm not going to do that. You're on your own. Yeah. Call me when you're done doing what you got to do, because I'm leaving. You know, I got stuff to do, you know, or like for the longest, like I said before, like, I know what you mean, because I used to do it all the time with the kids. Like, my mom never wanted me to move on. Like, she never wanted me to date. She wanted me to focus on the kids. She wanted me to specifically do that. And I would listen, just because, you know, I was like, she's right. You know, my kids come first. But then I realized, like, you know what? This lady's batshit crazy. We ain't doing this. Yeah. You know, like, she's like, you know, like, she has her husband at home. Yeah. She has a full family.
She don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah. I was like, so you about to make me go alone, but you got a husband at home, lady.
You're like, nah.
I was going to say, que chingona mi ama, but I'm not going to say that, or I already did. Never mind. She's going to get pissed at me for saying that.
You said it in a different way.
So how do you, what do you think about all this? And the only reason I'm saying what you think about this, Chris, is because you're gay. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I feel like I'm saying that in an offensive way. It's not. I'm scared now.
It's not offensive.
No. So how do you feel with all that, especially being in a Latino culture?
It really has been such a weird experience, just because, like, I think being in Wichita honestly helped a lot with that. But I mean, I didn't come out till 4 years ago. So it was just always been like, you have those points where, like, oh, I don't want to disappoint anybody. Yeah. And then there's points where, like, well, I don't care about what other people think. I'm gonna do whatever I want. So it's always been like the battle of that. And, like, honestly, having some conversations with, like, uncles and grandparents growing up, and they would be like, hey, don't act this way, or don't do this. That's not good. That's not right. Yeah. So, like, in my head, I'm like, I had all of that stuff. And I didn't even realize that until I got older. I was like, that's like, kind of fucked up that he said that to me.
Up there trying to...
I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But honestly, probably like my grandpa, I would like, that was the last person I would expect to ever be, like, open to me being gay. And, like, I presented, like, Javen to them one day, and they were, like, all about it. They were, like, super supportive. It like, I think that was the one where I was like, okay. Yeah.
You're like, okay, you're you.
Yeah. And I think that's the best part, because when you're living a way where you're not comfortable with yourself, it brings you so much more pain than just saying it. Just I know it's so difficult, because you're just like, you know, should I? I mean, I think I can relate in a certain way where, like, there are certain things I will never tell people about my life or my past, because it terrifies me just to get a reaction. Yeah. But I think that kills me more.
Yeah, without speaking about it.
You know what I mean? So I've always thought about that. I'm like, how hard is it for me to, like, live a little bit like that, for someone to just be like, I can't, in any situation. And I'm just like, that sucks, and that's torture, and I don't think anyone should feel that. So I feel like when someone, like, loudly tells you, like, hey, like, it's fine, you know, it's like the best relief. Like, it's like you like, you're so free, like, you're so like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I do this sooner? You know what I mean? But everything, it takes time. Yeah. And it's just,
it definitely does. Yeah. Because I think the first person I told was Janet, and I didn't even tell her, like, willingly. I was actually just out of surgery, and I told her while I was, like, all doped up.
Luby.
Yeah.
Love that feeling. Know that feeling. So I, like, we'll continue to be on that feeling here in a couple months.
You're like, I've been there. I want to be there again.
I want that feeling. Like, every single day.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds depressing. Yeah. That sounds depressing.
So she never like reminded you like that. She was never like, hey, Chris, like,
you told me you were gay when you were on anesthesia.
No, she just heard it and kept it and moved on. That's a real sister.
Awesome. Yeah, that is a real sister. Good for you. Good for you for being a great sister. Because my brother's a piece of shit. He would have fucking told my mom. He would have been like, did you hear what at least I did?
Yeah.
We're going to put it on fucking World Star.
You're like, did you hear about that peanut butter drink she had?
Let's not talk about that anymore.
That's what he would have said.
I was like, let's not talk about that anymore because I can't even remember. That was embarrassing for the whole family and his friends. Ass out and everything.
Oh, you know.
Would you change anything about the way you came out? Would you have done it sooner? How do you know?
I would have done it sooner, yeah.
Do you think your family already knew?
Oh, 100%, yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%.
I was like, yeah, it was kind of...
How do you feel? Like, do you go to church and stuff or no?
I don't. So I'm always like iffy on church just because kind of like what Five was saying, is just like there's like a lot of hypocrisy
people who are like,
in church, which would bother me. But I always just try to like think people use religion as like a thing to be a better person.
Yeah.
So I never want to like down somebody on that. So I still consider myself pretty religious and just like in my own way.
Yeah. And that's I think that's the best way. That's the best way.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably have to keep it for myself for a while.
Yeah.
Just because there's always that like stigma where you're like, well, I don't know about it, and everybody thinks you're like.
Well, the only reason I ask is because I have a lot of gay friends, and for them, religion is not a thing because of because they're gay, and it's not part of the culture or part of the religion, and that's like turning your back away from that, So that's why I ask, because I don't understand that. It's like, why would you, is it because of the people itself, or is it because of the church itself?
I'm not sure.
Is it because of the rules that they have?
Have
you thought about maybe another religion?
I think it's the people voicing. Like, there's always a group of people, like at, I guess, the church I go to, there's always a small group of people that are they're courageous enough to be the voice of the church, and they're the worst. They're the worst voices for that church. So they're like a representation of that church. So then people are always like, I don't go to church because of that group of people. And I hate that, because it's like they're the brave ones that can like puff their chest out and be like, yeah, I do this and come, and they're like recruiting people, but they're like the worst people. And I think they ruin it for like
a lot of
the little people like me that go and like just go to be my natural self. And, I go and like, I talk the way I do, and I, yell at my kids the way I do at church. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like there and like, I'm a completely different person. You know what I mean?
That's another thing that I don't like about the Catholic Church, and I love about the white people church. I don't know what they are, baptism or fucking, I don't know, Mennonite. I have no idea what it is. But that they have daycare for their kids. You know, like they have a whole separate room where they put the kids and they talk to them about Jesus, and they do all this stuff with them. And I kind of have like my me time. Like, oh, this is different. This would never, they would never do this in a Catholic church, you know?
Well, I think to all the kids crying.
And I've heard that it's because Catholic churches would rather have a family together going to church.
It's like a family, but I also deeply think that it's just the funding. Like, we don't have, because like, okay, the way that they do stuff is you have to have like a certain class that you take to be around minors, and not a lot of people in the Catholic community
can say they have that,
want to go to that class and sit there for 4 to 6 hours and have someone write off like, they teach you about like sexual harassment, how you're not supposed to go to the restroom with women. If you're a male, if you're a female, don't go to the restroom with a male.
I always wondered that too. Like, how do like single dads, like that's a thing too. Like, girls aren't supposed to go to the bathroom with men. So what do dads do? Or if they have a baby, they have to change the diaper.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, like
it's so messed up, because I've seen that like at different parts where they're like dad and daughter date night or whatever, and they literally will leave, and they're like, I gotta go potty, dad, I gotta go potty, and they will leave because it's like your mom's not here and your sister's not here. Like, so I can't pawn you off to a complete stranger to have them to go to the restroom.
And you know what's so crazy? You're now in this time, in this era, you're seeing more single dads than you see single moms. Like, you see the dads are taking on this role now that the moms aren't. Which to me is like mind blowing, because I'm like, wait, what? I've met so many single dads, and I'm like, what the heck? And they actually take care of their kids.
And it's easier, I think, when you're like, for you, like when Max gets to an age where he's no longer able to go to the restroom with you, you're going to feel safer having him go into a boy's bathroom to pee and come out. But imagine like a male having, like, okay, we'll say Alfred. Imagine Alfred telling Esme, go to the restroom by yourself, wash your hands, come out. He will never. There's no way he's standing outside of a woman's bathroom, because he's already being judged. Like, why are you being a creep outside of a woman's bathroom? How do you explain to someone like, oh, my 6-year-old's in there? And he can't take her into a family restroom either because that looks totally wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he hates, like when I come to the podcast, he's just like, I'm going to be home or they're at my mother-in-law's because he just doesn't want to deal with like changing the baby's diaper. And
that's so fucked up.
Yeah.
I think
it's so messed up
that your own dad, like, you know, like somebody who made you basically, like you didn't come out of his stuff, but you came out of yours, but still like, they don't give the credit where it's due.
No.
And that's stressful.
Yeah. Stressful.
It is stressful. That whole thing stresses me out because my son be going to the bathroom. He's like, Mom, I'm gonna go to the boys' bathroom. I'm like, no, you ain't.
Yeah,
we're going to the girls' bathroom.
You see, and you can still get away with that because
once they're older, I'm gonna be like,
because it's more acceptable for a woman to have a for me with Ross, it was more acceptable for me to pull Ross into the women's restroom. It was like viewed as cute, like, oh, how cute, like you're in here with the girls. Yeah. Can you imagine if a male put Esme, like a girl in there, like that would be and I hate that. I hate that feeling. Well, but whatever, I guess we'll just keep
fucking living this stupid ass life.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just keep living these stupid rules.
Yeah.
Fuck. Come on, people, change.
Yeah.
And it's mostly the people that are way older. Yeah. Like that are not, you know, that are still living in the same ways that they've been living for the past 50, 60 years.
Like they'd rather me pawn my kid to a complete stranger just because it's like more comfortable than have my husband take my daughter in.
You know what surprises me? That you're not like that. Alfred's like, I don't give a fuck, you know, because that's how you guys are. Kind of like,
he is like that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised he's not like, I don't give a fuck what you and you have to say. I'm gonna take my daughter.
He doesn't care, but it's just, I guess he grew up with that. Like he grew up with him knowing like you're not supposed to bathe your daughter, you're not supposed to change your daughter, you're not supposed to be in the room when your daughter's changing. Esme can't run around in the house without pants.
I always question that with Steve.
Yeah,
because he lives with 2 girls. He has 2 girls, and like it's nuts to me because sometimes like I catch myself like judging him. Yeah, I'm like, well, why would he do that? Does he wash their undies and stuff? Like you know, like why is he doing that? Or like, but he like knows, and the girls get it. Like they're like, it's my dad. Like,
but I think when
crazy
like that, when you're forced to live like that, it's completely normal. Yeah, it's normal. You don't have any other way.
Yeah, and even then, like now, like they'll be like, well, I need bras. You know, like the younger one will be like, I need bras. I'm like, okay, let's go buy you some. Yeah. You don't want to tell my dad that we're going or anything? And I'll be like, do you want me to tell? You know, like, do you want me to?
Like whispering, like, is that something you want him to know?
I'm telling you, I used to make my dad feel super uncomfortable. I think the older I got, the more fucks I gave. Yeah. You know, like, we would talk about periods and stuff, and like, he'd get so uncomfortable. You'd make him feel like uncomfortable. Or like, if I wanted to go out somewhere, I'd be like, oh, we're going to go get tampons. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Like, I'm not going to talk to you about this because it's just something I don't want to talk about.
He would dismiss you.
Bye. And then I've told the girls that. I'm like, well, if you don't want to talk to your dad, just tell him you're going to go get tampons or you're on your period or something. Yeah. They're like, do you think he cares? My dad doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't care. Like, okay.
He'll have the conversation
Let's talk about it.
But anyways, thank you so much for coming, Chris. You might be our new panelist. We are looking for more panelists. I'll let you guys know.
We might
because we might be covered already. But I don't know. We might be replaced with more people. Who knows? Yeah. Not you, Fabi. Not you.
This is my moment.
This
is his moment. Let him shine. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then we're on Spotify, Apple Music. I don't know all of them. Go check out my link tree. Apple Podcast, not Apple Music, Apple Podcast. But anyways, our link tree is in our bio. Yep. Don't forget to check us out. And do you guys have any shout outs? Any plugs? No?
Not me.
I don't want to plug anybody. Oh, never mind. Lydia, shout out to you. Miguel, we ain't shouting you out. Fuck
Congratulations.
That. Hope you get better through COVID.
Congratulations on her baby.
That I already knew. He's going to be due on the 23rd. That's my birthday. All right. This is Apoco.